All right. Let's dive into limits, rollouts. You'll see these are heater parts, but a limit on a air conditioning refrigerant system is going to work the same way. They're always going to be a closed circuit, and they're going to open up whenever they meet this temperature, and most of them's going to have that information on that limit or safety. Some of them are going to be manual reset, some of them will be auto reset. Most of the ones that you see on your refrigerant circuit are probably going to be an auto reset. I have seen some that are a manual reset on the high pressure side. But like I said, I've taken one apart so I can show y'all what's inside of these and how they actually work. So these are rollouts on a heater. These are manual resets. That little button up here, that will pop up, and to reset it, you have to manually push that down to complete the circuit again. Same thing on this one here. This one's just a bigger one. I've taken this one apart. And if you look, all it is a little thin piece of metal in there. And we've got continuity between here and here. And the information is normally written on the side of this, on the limit. This one was written on the top, which I've taken the top off this and I don't have it anymore. But if you look at this little rollout switch, that information there, that's your part number. And then there, if you can see that, that's a 300 degree limit right there. So at 300 degrees, this is gonna pop and open up the circuit and stop the operation until somebody manually resets this. This is a rollout on a heater. The reason why these are manual reset, because if you have a rollout situation, that's usually a pretty bad situation that needs to be checked. This one is also a resettable. Your high limits are some of them I've seen resettable, but some of them are gonna be an automatic reset to where whatever temperature it trips out at, 200, 250 degrees, whatever it is, it's gonna trip out, and then normally it'll let it cool down about 30 to 40 degrees below that, then it'll re-engage by itself. So let me show you how this works. So you got the limit in there. I'm gonna heat up the bottom of this. Y'all see it pop? Now it popped up, all right? So that trip opened up the circuit, stopped the operation. And how that works is anytime you heat up metal, electricity wire does the same thing. It's gonna expand and contract. So we heated this up, this disc, until it tripped, opened up the circuit. So now, let me put my meter on here. Get this turned around where y'all can actually see what I'm doing. So now I have no continuity, okay? So I'm gonna manually reset this. Now normally there's a top on here that you would just press the bottom, so no continuity. I'm gonna reset it. Now I've got continuity. So that's all we're doing on a limit. You need to check. Always remember when you're checking a limit to pull your wires off of each side and ohm out across here, because you can get feedback from one side to the other. You still have your wires on here, you're checking continuity. This could be open, but you're getting a feedback from somewhere down the circuit that is closed, telling you that might be closed. So just always, it doesn't happen all the time, but that has happened to me on checking electrical circuits and stuff. It's always best to pull your wires off and isolate the actual part that you're checking and ohm it out right here. So same thing on this little rollout here. Boom, it just popped up. So we just heated that up. This one was 300 degrees. So once that hit 300 degrees, it popped. Reset this, push that little button back down, and we're good to go again. But you need to figure out why that tripped in the first place. hopefully that better helps you understand how a limit works. Your pressure limits on your refrigerant circuit are going to work the same way. A lot of those are geared more towards pressure, some temperature, but we're always having a closed circuit that's going to open up internally inside that limit based on if it hit that pressure limit or if it hit the temperature. One thing to keep in mind too, especially when you're dealing with an older system that's had a limit and maybe somebody wasn't always good about changing the filters, or they've had freon pressure issues, some circumstance where the limit has probably on an auto reset, if it's tripped a lot of times, cooled back down, come back on. All this, it's a thin piece of metal and this thing will wear out over time. So if this thing is constantly open and closing on an auto reset, it can wear this out to where I've even taken these off, shook, and you can hear where this inside has broke. So that little wire, that little thin piece of copper right there has either broke or stuck, hung up. So just remember, if you're ever working with one, that could be a possibility that limit has tripped constantly or a few times. It's always good to go back with a new limit. And usually that's gonna be an indication if somebody, has had a freon leak and just constantly filling it up, trying to get by, or not good at changing their filters on a high limit for a heater. I've seen that a lot, so just keep that in mind. So, all right, guys, hope that helps you better understand how a limit works and how to check them. And just keep learning, and I'll wrap with you guys later.